You're listening to Podcast PXN, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Let's do this. What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 93. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Gorilla Man himself, Christian. What's up, Christian?
I didn't see that was the intro until I read it just now on the doc. But first of all, it's the Gorilla King. Thank you very much.
Oh, was it really? Oh, I screwed it up.
King. It's the Gorilla King, but it's okay. We got there.
Let me just type that for a future. Gorilla King. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN and you will find us on there, as well as twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. The topic of the show this week, Christian, is the news on some PlayStation Studios acquisitions. But first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week, so let's go ahead and jump right in. The first item on the PXN News of the Week, Christian, is one of the original programmers on Star Fox, the original, says he would bring the series back to its roots and essentially remove any kind of gimmicks that would be added. As a big Star Fox fan, like, I love the character. I don't really have a ton of experience with the franchise. I played the N64 Star Fox, but other than that, I really haven't played much Star Fox. Does this news like basically say to Nintendo, like, please give us freaking Star Fox and don't make it this like stupid, crazy, I don't know, thing?
First of all, Star Fox Adventure on GameCube. Was it
yes,
like
yes.
it was the jam, dude. I loved like the RPG elements of it. But like, yeah, I mean the Star Fox proper is like the N64 version. I was just talking about the DS version that came out, and how I would take my Star Fox and DS to McDonald's so I can hop online on the Wi-Fi and play online. But yeah, it's time for this franchise, I think, to come back. I think fans would be willing to get their hands on another Star Fox game, even if it's just like kind of the same formulaic stuff from Super Nintendo and N64.
Yeah,
it's fun.
See, and that's, I mean, the fact that you just said that the N64 version is essentially the original game, I had no idea that was the case. So, but yeah, when you said Adventure, I remember that now. Actually, I did play that as well. Didn't they have like dinosaurs and stuff in it?
Oh yeah, he crash lands on a planet with dinosaurs. There's a snowboarding segment. It's cool.
Yeah, I actually really liked that as well. I agree with you. I think that, low key, I would love a Star Fox Adventure too, but yeah.
Maybe in like 4 or 5 years we'll see it make its return.
Yeah,
that's how Nintendo operates. When you think something's gone, it comes back.
Yeah, like Pokemon Snap. I mean, that came out of nowhere.
That's true, but I was thinking Metroid Dread. But you're so right. You're so right.
Good point. Yes. Christian, not Super Mario Golf Super Rush has gotten some reviews kind of starting to hit, and some people, it's gotten pretty average reviews, mixed reviews so far, and some people are upset about the lack of replayability and saying that it's fun, but it's like it's not really as expansive as it should be. Have you been a big Super Mario Golf fan, or are you kind of, new to Mario Golf in general?
Mario Golf is interesting because it's not my favorite of the Mario Sports series. Like, Strikers is up there. Yes. I love playing baseball, tennis, of course. So Golf Ball is like whatever, because I thought there was like other better ones that I spent my time with. That said, I kind of want, like, everyone is like playing this week, and I want to hop into matches with people. Like, even though I know it's not great, I still want to play it.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because I know a lot of people were like super hyped about it when it got announced, because like some of the other games were like always rated very highly, and people actually lauded the replayability of these games. So it kind of, it's a hindrance, I guess, to fans of the series to see that replayability isn't a high priority for this game. And it is kind of disappointing too. Like it's literally I heard someone say that Mario Golf actually has really good simulation in it, and like Super Rush really doesn't expand on that at all. It's kind of like the same essentially as the last game. So yeah, it kind of sucks that they didn't really evolve that at all. But
Why do you think that is? I was thinking about this, and I think the scuttlebutt is like resources and budget, and
yeah.
I don't know what it could be.
Maybe COVID caused them to cut out some features. Maybe that would have made
Scale
it more
back
expansive. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know. Honestly, obviously, video games in general always have a ton of cut content and stuff that never sees the light of day when the games come out. But it does seem odd that a game that is historically known to have really good replayability is being condemned for not having that. So, yeah,
that worries me too. In the case of Nintendo, their games don't get much of like post-launch support, and if they do, it isn't until like years later.
Yeah.
We just saw the case with Mario Party not getting online or any kind of update for that until years later.
Yeah.
So I mean, here's hoping golf goes the other way.
And to your point, we're getting a new Mario Party game that really should probably just be like an expansion to the game that's already there. But yeah, I don't know.
Old Nintendo.
Yeah, old Nintendo. Christian, this story will probably excite you. Battlefield 2042 will reportedly bring back remastered classic maps in an unannounced mode. This does have some credence to it because DICE has said that there is a essentially third pillar mode that they have been teasing for a while that they haven't announced yet. That will be announced in July at the EA Play event. I believe it's July 22nd. I wrote down here. But apparently this will reportedly like bring back our classic favorite maps in a remastered form, but using the 2042 sandbox, which I think is awesome. Like, obviously this may not work for, their new player count that they have, but it still would be awesome to have, even if you have the lower player count in this mode, to kind of get to revisit our favorite maps. Christian, does this excite you?
Yes, but I want to know what game mode it is. If it's a new one or if it's a one that we all know and love. I've grown to love Rush over the years, and I hope Rush makes a comeback in 2042. I would love to see some of the maps from Battlefield 3 make it over.
Yeah, and
remember that the map in like London where you like a train crashes and you go like through the subway and back out. Like that map was incredible.
And that wasn't that. I think that map was in Battlefield 4 as well. I think it was in both actually.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, and even people like now with all the Battlefield 2042 hype, people have been going back and playing Battlefield 4, and I think it's free on Epic Games Store right now as well, if I'm not mistaken. So like that's super cool, and like you posted on Twitter, I think the other day about how awesome the Levolution was for Battlefield 4, which I agree that was freaking insane seeing like a skyscraper come down in Battlefield 4, but yeah.
Yeah, and then people on TikTok and Twitter, like to this day, are like, "Oh, I can't wait for 2042. This looks nuts." And it's like, "No, dude, this is Battlefield 4. You can play this right now."
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder if that even is going to be like possible in 2042. You would think it would, but they haven't really shown like big skyscraper level destruction in 2042 thus far. Maybe they will soon, because there was that city map that we saw a ton of stuff happening, but we never saw like that scale. So that is interesting, I guess, to see.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. I if I had to guess, that city map would probably be the closest to having like a skyscraper Levolution, like similar to Battlefield 4 scale.
Yeah,
I don't know how that'll work in tandem with like the sandstorm, whatever that's happening at the same time, but I'm excited to find out. I'm excited to find out what this new mode is.
Yes. And if it brings back all these classic maps, yes, please.
Yep.
And actually, this is interesting. I didn't even read further down here. It does say that these classic maps might support the 128 players in 2042, which that might be a little insane. But
it's going to be so fun.
Yeah. Yes, that'll be an actual battlefield, literally. But moving on. What
I did want to. It'll be interesting to see how, I guess, Call of Duty responds.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah.
I guess specifically, I'm thinking Warzone
Mm-hmm.
to see if the player base will be affected at all by Battlefield. I think it might if Warzone doesn't do any kind of major changes to, like Verdansk and their current map. So we'll see.
I think the only thing that would maybe hold them back is that Warzone is free to play and Battlefield 2042 is not. But yeah, it'll be for sure interesting to see if they can steal away some of that audience for sure. Moving on, Christian, Marvel's Avengers will permanently allow players to play as the same heroes as one another starting in July. Obviously, this has been a much requested feature for a long time from a lot of people playing Marvel's Avengers, at least from what I've seen, because there's certain characters that people want to play as. Like, if you have 2 or 3 people who want to play as Iron Man, like, I don't know, that's their favorite character, or like has certain abilities that none of the other characters. I haven't played Marvel's Avengers. I just played the demo, so I don't really know exactly, but I do think it's a good thing that people are able to choose the same people because it does give them more options, I guess. It gives people the option to choose their favorite heroes, I guess. What do you think about this?
This will be cool for people squatting up when the Black Panther War for Wakanda DLC gets released later this year. They'll be able to, I guess, squat up and all play as Black Panther together and rank up and earn their little loot and stuff and not have to worry about playing as the wrong character. So that's cool for them.
For sure. And yeah, Black Panther is a perfect example of that. And there's really not that many characters in Marvel's Avengers still. Even after the DLC, they had Hawkeye and...
Where's Spider-Man?
Yeah, exactly. Where is Spider-Man?
That was supposed to happen.
Yeah, the PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man, and yeah, nowhere to be found. Yeah, I don't know. Take it up with Sony and Square Enix, I guess. But Christian, this is not a Podcast PXN episode without Halo news. So, more Halo Infinite. Yeah, more Halo Infinite news has come out of the monthly update that they provided this week, or last week, I mean. And this is kind of focusing on Halo Waypoint, which is the website and kind of web portal for Halo, but they also dropped some game information. So the game information we got was there's going to be new seasons that will drop every 3 months, which we knew they were doing a season model, but now we know it's going to be a quarterly season. Which that's a decent amount of time. 3 months is, I feel like, fair enough. And they're going to have seasonal events that will take place, allowing you to unlock specific thematic rewards that they're calling fractures, which is super, super cool. And actually, the Yori armor that is shown in the multiplayer reveal trailer at the end, it looks like a samurai, is actually the first armor that's going to be a seasonal event or a fracture, and it's apparently being called Tenrai. That's the event that they're calling it. So super, super cool, and I feel like that's going to like lend themselves to do some really cool stuff, having these like fracture events come into the play space. But yeah,
I'm curious because I remember them saying that once you buy into the season, it's yours. You always have it, so you can go back if you miss something to claim what was in that season. How would that work if these like armor pieces are tied to fracture events? How would you go about getting that Yori armor? I wonder.
That is a good question. I don't know. I think I'm not 100%, but I think these fracture events are separate from. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I feel like these fracture events are separate from the battle pass. I feel like. I think they said that it was free, so everyone can get these seasonal events just by playing, I believe. Don't quote me on that, though. I might be wrong on that. But yeah.
And that makes sense. Entice the player base that's like active in your community now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
And
this is gonna be fun, dude. I'm excited to try out Halo Infinite.
yes, I'm glad to have you on board, and we're gonna have to play it together when you're on board.
Yes.
So, and Christian, I added this other part because it just infuriated me last week when I saw this. Not even kidding you. I recorded an podcast episode with a friend of mine that Roro also knows on his podcast about Halo Infinite. And we were literally talking about before we started that episode, we're like, all that Halo Infinite news that came out last year that was like bull crap, like that was not corroborated reports or anything. Like it was all like just thrown around like by the gaming media, and it was so infuriating because there was a lot of factually incorrect information they were giving out about Halo Infinite. And then literally we finished recording and I see IGN post a freaking tweet with a article that's with a headline that says Halo TV series has both showrunners leave the show. That's what it says. Mm-hmm. Okay. Couple problems with this. In their image that they posted with this, it even sources the Variety article that they originated their article from. The original Variety article says Halo showrunner to exit Paramount Plus series after season 1. Two very different things. IGN saying lost both showrunners for the TV series. Not true. And I freaked out on Twitter about it, and a bunch of people liked my comment, which I was like, holy crap, there was like 150 likes. And then IGN deleted their post and reposted a new one that sort of cleared it up a little bit more. But my gosh, I'm so tired of these stupid stories. And actually, if people read the article, the actual article, it actually says
That'll never happen.
No, exactly. That will never happen. The first showrunner actually left the show before season 1 even started because he said he didn't have time to commit to the entire series. The second showrunner has been on the series since the very beginning, and he has been working on this for 2 years in Budapest. He's been living in Budapest where it's filming. And he said that he's leaving the show after season 1 because he wants to go back home to the U.S. Like, people, read the article. Like, come on.
Yeah, and it's not like it's uncommon for like directors to have or for shows to have different directors every season.
Right.
Like it's just like a normal thing in TV.
Yeah.
It's just the realities of like clickbaity articles and like content writing nowadays, where like a provocative headline will get the clicks or it will get the shares even if no one's actually reading the content, and like that's a problem for sure.
Absolutely, I agree. And like to your point, Christian, like there's shows that even have different directors in the same season or showrunners in the same season.
Yeah,
like I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy.
The power of verbiage, dude. It's you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like just that phrase that you said with that IGN posted, like has negative connotations that the Variety article just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's way more objective. Yeah.
Absolutely. Moving on, Christian, Xbox Game Cloud Gaming is now available to all Game Pass Ultimate members on Windows and Apple phones and tablets using the browser. So this was previously in beta where people, you had to sign up and they would give you access to this, but now it's available to everyone. And actually, they just announced as well that it is now fully powered by Xbox Series X hardware, which means anytime you boot up a game in cloud gaming that's a next gen game, you're getting the benefits of Series X hardware, so better textures and all of that, and faster loading, more importantly, for this purpose. And actually, I think they said that Series X hardware lowers latency as well, which is very important for cloud gaming, because that, let's be real, that's the major concern with cloud gaming is latency. So I thought that was really cool that that's finally available.
Here in the Sony, take notes, improve PS Now.
Yeah, true.
Also, very, very, very cool that like this is included with Game Pass Ultimate, which is like $15 a month.
Yeah,
gaming on the go.
Yeah.
People do it. That's awesome.
Absolutely. It is insane value for sure.
There were people this like just the other day, I think today or yesterday, asking online, hey, where can I get like a cool like backbone for my iPhone, because I want to access cloud gaming with my iPhone. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah. And I've heard a lot of good things about the Razer Kishi. It's like a little thing that attaches to your phone, and it's basically like a switch at that point when you put your phone in the middle of it. But
kind of wish I had Ultimate now.
Yeah.
I'm taking a few flights in July that'd be very useful.
Yeah, for sure.
I could play MCC on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Play MCC, Christian. Play MCC.
I will.
Christian, an Australian ratings board has provided a classification for a mystery multi-platform game from id Software. Very interesting. Obviously, id Software makes Doom. Doom Eternal came out last year. I think, as far as what I'm thinking, so apparently it's called Project 2021B. And their Project 2021A was I believe, Doom 3 on VR or something. So people think that this is going to be like a remaster or something to that effect, like a port, something like that. So a lot of people have been saying like, hey, maybe this will be like a Quake 1 or a Quake 2 port to modern platforms, which would be cool. And obviously, I don't think anyone's played, the Quake games in so long because, I mean, it's been on such a tear. That's a good pun. With Doom. So, yeah, I think this would be cool and kind of something new for id. Have you?
It would be cool. I haven't played Quake in forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see it come back, especially with played on PC.
Yeah.
That ray tracing, baby. Oh yeah. It makes them like visually striking games, like running.
Yeah.
The
id Tech software, id Tech engine is phenomenal.
I did want to note that when I saw this come out, when I read it as a mystery game,
yeah,
I thought that was the genre that they were just like, oh, they're doing like a cool mystery, like I want to solve something, like awesome. That's very new for them.
Yeah,
but no.
Sherlock Holmes from id Software.
I'd play it.
We're gonna rip and tear some criminals' heads off.
Yes.
Oh gosh, that's great. That's perfect. That actually, now that you say that, I want that game. Ugh.
It's Sherlock Holmes, but with the Doom gameplay.
Yeah. Perfect. A little bit more Bethesda news here, Christian. Bethesda Game Studios' Todd Howard has said that Elder Scrolls 6 is still in the design phase, and also that he had made comments that it will use Creation Engine 2, which is being used for Starfield, and that they'll use whatever they learn from Starfield to improve the engine further for Elder Scrolls 6, which I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer. Obviously, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be their next game, so that only makes sense. But does it surprise you that Elder Scrolls 6 is still like in its design phase?
Yes and no. Yeah. Yes, in that what the game was released, like 2 years ago now? Or not released, announced 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
But also, like, they have so many games in the pipeline that, like, of course, the games take forever to make, and something that is going to live up to the Skyrim of all games, like, this needs its time.
Yeah. And when they showed this game 2 years ago, they literally just showed a logo. I mean, that's all we got, so, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, too, but people online, like, the scuttlebutt is that, like, the Bethesda engine needs, like, some improvements. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the original Creation Engine is what Fallout 4 uses and Fallout 76, and it definitely has a lot of issues because just for bugs in general, and it's really like, I call it like rough around the edges, like even the animation is not great in it, it's not like smooth and everything. It's just, all in all, it just needs it needs to be polished because it's not like, it's not a high-class engine. It's not like id Tech, for instance.
Okay. And the Creation Engine 2 is a new iteration of the original engine?
Yes. Yep. And essentially, because Fallout 4 came out in 2014, and the main team at Bethesda Game Studios hasn't made anything since then. They had a spin-off team that was produced from Texas, Austin, I believe, that made Fallout 76 using the same engine as Fallout 4, but the main team continued to work on the improvements to Creation Engine 2, which would end up being used for Starfield, obviously.
Okay.
But yeah. And obviously, Todd Howard's team is only going to work on one game at a time, so Starfield's first priority, and Elder Scrolls 6 will be next. But
listen, and I'm excited for 2026 when GTA 6 and Elder Scrolls 6 all come out.
You say that jokingly, but that's true. That's
it's
probably
true.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't expect I don't think that it's going to be like Fallout 4 to now, or I guess Fallout 4 to 2022 when Starfield comes out. I don't think it's going to be that gap for Elder Scrolls 6 since now they have their new engine ready to go. But yeah, you're probably right. Like 3 to 4 years after Starfield, I think it'll take for Elder Scrolls 6. So 2026, mark it down.
And that's okay. Like, take your time. Make a good game.
For sure. Yes, absolutely. Everyone, what's the famous quote? We'd rather have a good delayed game than a bad released game, or whatever that's.
You talking about the Miyamoto quote?
Yes.
Like yeah, I get you. I forget how it goes too.
Yeah, but it's something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Moving on, Christian. Remedy has officially revealed that Control is getting a 4-player PvE multiplayer spin-off game that's codenamed Condor. Very odd and interesting.
Weird thing to wake up to.
Yeah. Things I love this headline, or not headline, but the line below the headline. I forget what you call that. The subline, I guess. I don't know what you call that. But I love the subline of IGN that says things are getting out of control. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, they also quietly kind of also said, yeah, we're also going to make a big budget game. They have apparently high-level plans for a new, bigger budget game set in the Control universe, which is kind of a weird way to just like offhandedly say, yeah, we're making this multiplayer thing. Oh yeah, also we're gonna do a secret like big budget Control game. But yeah,
it reminds me of when Sucker Punch worked on the Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer side content.
Yeah, for sure. And like, is this gonna be its own separate game, like, or is this just gonna be an expansion to Control? I'm not sure how this is gonna.
If they'll bundle it as kind of DLC to the original Control, or release it as a standalone.
Yeah,
who knows? And I'm curious to see one, like what it'll look like and play like, whether or not because I saw like a screenshot I think of these soldiers, like are they gonna have powers? But two, if people are gonna want to play this, I would. Control has like a very cool world built inside their game. Like I want to know more about it, so I'm curious to check it out.
Yeah.
But it's also like there's a lot of co-op competition coming out. Rainbow Six, Back for Blood. So yeah.
Yes. And I guess this line about how much it's going to cost is making me think it's a full-fledged game, because they said that Condor's initial development budget is 25 million euros, which is roughly the same as the original Control's budget, which is said to be less than 30 million euros. So sounds like it's going to be its own fully fledged game, which, like you said, it's a very competitive space already, so it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of carve out their own niche in that genre, for sure. But,
yeah.
Moving on, Christian. It's another week, so that means we get another Silent Hill rumor.
Yes.
Konami and Bloober Team most recently has made The Medium and Blair Witch. Both, I think they started on Game Pass, and they are working together, they have announced, but they haven't really said what for. And obviously there's going to be connections here because Bloober Team has worked on a lot of scary games. So what does Konami have? Silent Hill. And with the recent things with Blue Box Games, with us figuring out that they're probably not, I mean, who knows at this point still, but they're probably not doing a Silent Hill game. So maybe this is our actual Silent Hill team. Is that what you're thinking, Christian?
I mean, all signs point that way. If there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
So one would gather that it probably is a Silent Hill game. And let me tell you, it was a little disappointing.
Are you have you played their other games, The Medium or Blair Witch, or seen anything about them?
No, and I watched a lengthy Let's Play of The Medium through my friend who streamed most of the game.
Yeah.
And then I read thoughts about why the ending is like problematic and why like it needs a lot of fixing. So I don't have full faith in Bloober just because of the past of The Medium.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. How do you feel, Dan?
I played Blair Witch when it came out, and I was like, all right, this is really boring and bland, and like I did not like it at all. I was excited to check it out, and then I was like really disappointed when I actually played it. And then I haven't even touched The Medium because almost that very reason, because I was like, man, I'm turned off by this. And then the reviews ended up coming out for The Medium, and they were kind of, ho hum, like not great. So yeah, I agree with you. It's a little worrisome that Konami decided to work with them, but I don't know.
But oh god, we are getting Konami working with developers again.
Yeah,
and this will lead into a story that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. So what if Christian, this is an elaborate scheme by Kojima. He plans this whole thing. He tells Konami, leak this, leak this out here. Yeah.
I'm just getting over like the whole concept of Blue Box Games, but not actually being Kojima, it's too much, Dan. It's too much.
I'm sorry. I'll stop. Moving on, Christian. 2 new indie studios have been formed. I thought these were kind of interesting. Humanoid Studios is being helmed by former BioWare GM Casey Hudson, who is most famously responsible essentially he was the creative lead on Mass Effect, the Mass Effect trilogy. And so I thought that was very fascinating. He's obviously getting back into games there. And also Uncapped Games, which is being led by former Diablo and StarCraft veterans who are building a new RTS for PC, which is awesome because I love RTSs and I feel like RTSs don't get the love that they deserve in 2021, Christian.
And you won't get it from me either.
No, come on.
Sorry, they're not my kind of games. Like, I'll appreciate them from the side and like if you're having fun, cool for you, but yeah, not for me. Sorry.
Man.
Although a BioWare indie game,
or
not BioWare indie game, I'm sorry, Casey Hudson led indie game would be that has my curiosity peaked
for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does for sure. But yeah, your RTS hate. I'm
sorry, I can't.
Halo Wars 2. Come on, Christian, that was phenomenal game.
For me. Power to you, Dan. Hope you have fun.
Moving on, the ESRB has listed a Ghost of Tsushima director's cut for PS4 and PS5. Christian, I am sure you are excited for this.
I'm not. I like legitimately like I'm not. I have so many issues with Ghost of Tsushima that I won't get into now. But like very cool that we're seeing kind of like director's cuts make their way into like ushering people who probably miss maybe some of these games later in the PS4 life cycle or like trying to get PS5s. This is a great way to get people into like the ecosystem of PS5s with older games having PS5 versions with more content. So I think that is very cool to see on like the Sony side, not just the Ghost of Tsushima side.
You've been playing Sekiro, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Gorilla King, baby.
Yes. I was confused for a second because I was like, wait a minute. And I'm like, no, he's playing Sekiro, not Ghost of Tsushima. It's like, there's so many like similar, samey games that I'm like, that are in my head. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, Wrong
Don't
game.
even say it. Don't even compare the two.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. I'm just kidding. I gave you crap for the RTS stuff.
Yes, true. I haven't even played. I'm like 2 hours into Ghost of Tsushima that I literally did like the day after it came out, and I haven't gotten back to it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think the game's rough.
Yeah.
Personally, yeah.
Unfortunate. Moving on, Christian, to some Insomniac news. Insomniac is apparently hiring for a multiplayer project. What? So Insomniac is hiring. We have 5 new job openings for a multiplayer project. Come join us and be part of the PlayStation Studios family as we work on exciting things, is their exact quote. What?
Resistance?
Maybe. And maybe, like, call me crazy, but maybe, like, co-op for Spider-Man 2. Play as Miles Morales and Peter Parker, maybe?
I wouldn't like that as much. Like, I really enjoy the single-player aspects of the Spider-Man games, but, like, I trust Insomniac, so... I'm so curious. Like, why are all these studios making multiplayer stuff all of a sudden?
Yeah.
It's so random.
It is random.
We love you, and I'm excited to see your work.
And it almost feels like this is something different. I don't know. They don't say that, but I feel like almost like this is like a side project for them, maybe, that they're going to maybe have like a smaller third team working on this. They have their Ratchet team, their Spider-Man team, and then this smaller new team. Similar to Obsidian, who makes Grounded, because they have Avowed being in development and Outer Worlds 2, and then Grounded. So yeah, maybe something like that. Be cool. Interesting.
Just cranking the games out of Insomniac, dude.
Oh yeah.
Just churning them out.
Just give them more. Give them more. I just inject it in my veins, please.
Want more great games here? Take them.
Yes.
We got you.
And it's we joke, but it's really good news for PlayStation in general, because I feel like that's always been my biggest complaint with Sony first-party games is they don't have a lot of wide-ranging genres. They always have, like, you know, that third-person action-adventure game, but they're missing a lot of multiplayer experiences, and I feel like this would fulfill some of that as well. And some of the partnerships that they announced at E3 as well are fulfilling those multiplayer roles as well, which I think that's great news. I love to see both Microsoft and Sony embracing like a more variety of games in their first party portfolio.
Absolutely. Which begs the question, will SOCOM ever come back?
Yeah.
One can only hope.
True. Yeah, and Sony owns it, so it definitely could come back. Would not be surprised. Maybe this is it. Maybe Insomniac's doing it. Who knows?
They're like, yeah, here's SOCOM, work on something.
Yeah. Our next and last news story, Christian. Sony is charging developers for PlayStation Store visibility. You added the story a little bit before the show, and this is interesting. I didn't see this story before.
Yeah, it was a Kotaku article that came out today. And of course, I think the headline for this was a little bit baity as well. And it is until you read the article that you start getting a little bit more nuance. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But that's not to say there isn't truth to the headline as well. So I'm going to read you some quotes here.
Sure.
In a furious tirade on Twitter, independent games publisher Ian Garner of Neon Doctrine has unleashed his frustration with trying to publish games on a major games console. Without naming either Sony or PlayStation, Garner details just how difficult he has found it to gain support, store presence, and even launch discounts when releasing games on the platform. Just to kind of summarize a few paragraphs here, either you're jumping through the numerous tedious hoops you have to go through to get your game like front and center or like displayed somewhere on the PlayStation Store, or, as in the case of the headline, you can bypass that with a fee of $25,000 and sometimes upwards of $200,000.
Wow,
which is very steep. Two more quotes here for you. While Garner never mentions any names, we've independently verified that these deals are certainly in place with Sony for the PlayStation. From official paperwork we've seen, those fees can reach 6 figures for just a weekend's promotion. We're also told that Microsoft runs similar payment schemes for the Xbox Store.
Wow.
Of course, big publishers 4 big publishers, sorry. This is just another number on a multi-million marketing spreadsheet. Cost of doing business. But for independent developers and publishers working on total budgets more likely in 5 figures or less, it's absolutely unaffordable. For so long as major platforms release both sorts of games on the same terms, having them directly compete against one another, Garner's will just be one of the thousands of frustrated stories of finding it impossible to get any attention at all.
Wow. That's that's awful.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
There's like no kind of scale for getting promotion on these platforms.
Especially for like an independent developer. Like an independent developer cannot afford even $25,000. Like an independent developer is a tiny studio, like in most cases, where like $1,000 would be a lot of money to them. Like $25,000. That's insanity. I mean. Yeah. And I'm sure, like the article says, I'm sure Microsoft and probably even Nintendo do the same things as well, which is disappointing. And I feel like there are some things that are, good at spotlighting indie games. Like Xbox has the ID at Xbox program, and Sony will have certain events that they'll spotlight these indie games, or even like PSVR games, which can help with that. But yeah, like this is kind of gross marketing.
Yeah, so I actually had a question that you actually bring up, so I'll ask it now. I wanted to ask what like discoverability was like on the Xbox platform. I can speak to PlayStation side. They do always have now an indie section that features like some of like the favorite indies that are like rotated out like on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
But I'm not finding like I can't scroll and find a bunch of games that like are releasing. They seem to, like on the new PS5 store, make it kind of hard to find out games that aren't like the big games of the week, the big releases that we're looking forward to, or I guess the ones that paid, I don't know, $100,000 to be featured on the front. So
yeah,
what is it like on the Xbox side?
So the old Xbox store was terrible in terms of discoverability. The new Xbox store that they launched like, I don't know, like 6 to 8 months ago maybe, is much better in that regard. And there are sections that you can go to that show the new releases, and it doesn't just show like the big games. It shows literally every single new release. So if somebody clicks new release, the top game can be, the smallest game possible if it just released, yesterday or something. But in terms of discoverability, I feel like Microsoft does a decent job of it when you load up the store and they'll have their deals tab for games that are on sale. They'll have, a spotlight or whatever, and then like they'll have your different tabs on the left side that you can kind of navigate. So your demos, your add-ons, your new games, your all of that stuff. So I feel like they do a decent job, but the marketing side of it is not great.
Let's hope these platforms can find a way to kind of change a little bit to see if we can get like smaller teams like indies, some more discoverability, some more visibility, or I guess just a friendlier way to approach the way they get people onto their platform.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, don't make them pay an absorbent amount, or at least like scale it. Like I understand. Exactly. Yeah, I understand, like, you have a platform, you're trying to make money, and you have to pay for marketing your games, but, like, scale it to the scale of the game. If it's the tiniest of game, you can scale it to the tiniest of, cost, and then if you have the biggest of the games, scale it to the biggest of cost. I don't know. It sounds easy, but...
One of the things Garner was talking about is if you don't want to do that, going through the hoops is like submitting a bunch of forms essentially and getting someone like a person of contact to be leading that for you. And apparently that can be like really hard to get approved, and then getting a contact on your form. For sure. So having, I guess, like a dedicated team or a like department to that handles that could be a one way to get around that issue.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely agree. Moving into the games we are playing, Christian, I have been playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Got a few more hours into it and very much enjoying it. I will say, so I've been enjoying it. However, I will say there are, now that I'm a lot further into it, there are points where I'm like, does this sell me on the next gen that I was sold on at the beginning of this hype level for Ratchet and Clank? For instance, I'll give you an example. The ability to pull into rifts. It is super, super cool when they do the rift things where you're like falling into the rift and you go into the different dimensions in the very early stages of the game, and it takes you through all these worlds and it's instant loading and all of that stuff. That's super cool. The things that I find boring are the rifts where, and this is most of the rifts that I've encountered so far in the game, is where you're literally just grabbing it to pull yourself to it, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Because it doesn't feel like as crazy as I had hoped it would be, I guess. It feels more like just like a teleport ability. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's essentially like a grapple, but in reverse. It's pulling the world toward you instead of you going towards the spot.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
it isn't anything crazy necessarily.
Yeah. I guess, and maybe that was just my crazy expectations, but I will say I still absolutely love the game. It's fantastic and as zany as ever, and I love the world, and the freaking visuals are insane, and playing with the different weapons are super fun, like just switching between weapons, having the pixelizer and going to there's just so many different variations that you can use that I just love the crap out of that stuff so far. And I haven't gotten to play as Rivet yet, but I'm very excited about getting to that.
Yeah. Oh, you've played like nothing.
Oh, well, sorry, Christian.
Man, put like 90 minutes in the game.
I put it, no, there's no way. I put more than 90 minutes. There's no way.
Okay.
There's no way. Unless I'm just spending too much time gazing at the world, but I don't know. We'll see, Christian. I've also been playing Master Chief Collection Season 7, which I just wanted to shout out. The freaking custom game browser is awesome. I played one night just playing custom game browser and had a ton of fun because now they have modded content in there because they delivered mod tools with the newest update on PC, which is also crossplay with Xbox. So you can play in these modded lobbies, which comes with some crazy game types and stuff, which, oh my god, it's so much fun. I love it. So, yes.
Sounds like a blast.
Yes. What are you playing, Christian?
Thank you for the intro.
Yeah.
More Sekiro, baby. There's nothing but Sekiro. Like, that game it finally got its hooks in me. I think I mentioned that last week. I can't get enough of it. Every night I'm playing about like an hour-ish. I'm not putting major chunks into it at a time, but chipping away at it. And I'll probably play more tonight, probably a bit more tomorrow morning before work. It's so much fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
And you're gonna enjoy the hell out of Bloodborne 2 when that gets announced very soon.
Oh god, if ever.
Yeah. If Sony has a state of PlayStation, when's that gonna happen? I don't know.
I mean, I'm hoping for July.
Yeah, fair enough.
There was a tweet that, like, because a bunch of Sony news is dropping. It's like people keep asking when the next state of play is. It's happening now, and it's just them releasing it's news every week.
Yeah, that's true. There's always something.
Yeah.
Moving into the topic of the show, Christian. PlayStation Studios acquisition talks have been going on here. First, I kind of wanted to point out this interesting thing that Herman Holst had told. I don't know if he told GQ, but the article's from GQ. He says that they are not in an arms race for studio acquisitions with Xbox. Thought that was an interesting quote. There's a larger article here that Herman talks about a lot of things in terms of acquiring studios, especially the one we're going to get to here in a little bit. But I thought that was an interesting quote because I was like, you guys sort of are in an arms race. Like, you're not, but you are. Like, to an extent, you can't just sit back and watch Microsoft take up all of these studios and grow their studios to be whatever, like 23 or 24 studios, whatever they're at now, and not try to actually do something to keep pace. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to go out and buy, Bethesda, because Sony is not on the same level as Microsoft as a company in terms of, what they're worth. Like, they wouldn't be able to do that. That would be outside their scope. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. Microsoft is a multi-trillion-dollar company. So I agree with them in the sense that, like, yes, you're not going to, look to match Microsoft. Microsoft is not going to, like, if Phil Spencer got the blessing of Satya Nadella right now to go out and buy the biggest platform, like Activision, for instance, they could buy Activision. That's how big Microsoft is. Obviously, they're not going to, but, like, they could. That's the whole point of this. And, Herman saying this, I think, is more so referencing that, like, we can't do that. And it is very smart, the path that they have taken thus far for acquisitions. And I think that what he said makes sense as well, that, like, they're looking for targeted acquisitions that fit their mold. Yeah. What were your thoughts on his quote?
Yeah, when that came out, that was like the big discussion online, is that whether or not PlayStation is like in some kind of arms race. And I see where you're at. I would have to like lean more towards disagreeing in that regard, just because I feel like their priority isn't necessarily in competition of like number of studios with Xbox. And it's more about, like, I think maybe right now diversifying the portfolio and getting like unique experiences on their platform. And so I was like, when was like the last time Sony bought a team?
I believe Insomniac in 2016.
Insomniac in 2019.
Oh.
And then before then, it was Sucker Punch in 2011. So they're like, recently, I guess you could make the argument that they are picking up more teams, but these discussions happen after a while, and isn't until they have like some kind of relationship over the years. And we'll talk about that a bit more with specifically with who they acquired recently. It doesn't seem to me like it's we have to buy teams now because Microsoft is buying teams now. It's more like, okay, we've been have relationships with these studios for quite some time. Let's get them into our own fold,
for sure,
and make our platform, like, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense, and I agree with you. And, like, that is their biggest focus, is quality, not quantity. And I agree with you. They're not going to worry about
That's not to say Microsoft doesn't have quality either.
No.
Yeah,
for sure. But
I wanted to stay away from that because I don't want to insinuate that Microsoft doesn't have quality, because they've got bangers there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think over time the Xbox studios are only going to get closer to Sony quality studios, because they have larger marketing or larger budgets for their games now that Microsoft is backing them, all the studios that they acquired. So I agree.
If anything, Dan, we're the winners. We're getting all these cool games made.
Yes, absolutely. And, like, not just and people always say, like, well, Microsoft bought Bethesda. Well, that doesn't mean, the quality is going to go down or anything. That only means that the quality of those games are going to go up. So, yeah, it sucks for PlayStation owners that they won't be able to play those games, but the quality of the games should just go up. So, yeah, for sure. And we were referencing the studio here, Christian. Housemarque, the developer of Returnal, Resogun, and Dead Nation, has joined PlayStation Studios. Woo! I know you're excited about this.
And don't forget Super Stardust HD,
yes,
Next Machina. Dude, like, these guys rock. Returnal so far is my game of the year. I hope more people get the chance to play it. I know people were hesitant to play it because of, like, the whole save state stuff, but like, they've had a relationship with Sony for a while. Housemarque rules. They know how to make some great feeling games, some great looking games. And if Returnal's any indication of where the studio is headed in terms of scope, I'm excited to see what a PlayStation-backed first-party Housemarque game will look like in the next few years. For sure. Christian, I just realized I am letting down our YouTube chat because I just paid attention to it for the first time. Cover, thank you for joining us.
Ninja. There's a random person that named himself Ninja. I'm quite sure that's not the actual Ninja. That says, hello, everyone. What y'all talking about? What's up, Ninja? And Roro.
Blevins.
Yeah, and Roro's joining us as well. Hey, and oh my gosh, Ninja is here. Yeah, I don't think that's actually Ninja, but yeah.
Roro, drive safe.
Yeah, I laughed at that. I apologize. I let down our viewers there. I was not paying attention to the chat. I'm sorry, Christian. Housemarque is obviously a amazing studio, and as you just listed with Super Stardust as well, and other things that they've made, like they have done exclusive PlayStation games for a long time now. So like this partnership already made sense, and as Herman said, like they're going to target acquisitions, and this is one that makes sense. So I mean, yeah, it just makes sense.
And I think that the team creatively wants to do bigger projects like Returnal in the future. So like having like the safety net or like the backing of PlayStation is only going to allow them to make bigger games like this. So yeah, it should be cool.
For sure. Christian, there was another studio that may have accidentally gotten leaked. PlayStation Japan may have accidentally leaked the next PlayStation acquisition a bit early, which I'm wondering now when this is going to be announced. Like they should just announce it now at this point. But they apparently posted an image with the Housemarque acquisition that had Bluepoint Games joining PlayStation Studios, which again makes a lot of sense. They made the Demon's Souls remake for PS5 launch, and lately they've been doing a lot of stuff for PlayStation, including the Shadow of the Colossus remake as well. So yeah, I think this
not to mention the Nathan Drake collection of Uncharted 1, 2, and 3.
Correct. Yeah, and it didn't have the turmoil that Master Chief Collection had, although it didn't have multiplayer in it. To be fair, but
take that, Nathan Drake.
Yeah, but Bluepoint makes perfect sense with all the PlayStation partnerships that they've done the last few years. I think it makes perfect sense, and bring on more PlayStation exclusives from Bluepoint. And I'm kind of interested to see, like, Bluepoint for a while now, Christian, has been known as like this port or remaster studio. I'm wondering, I want to see what they can do new. Do you think
you won't get that from them?
You don't think so?
No, they have come out and said like this is like what they like doing. Like this is their thing. Their studio does is bring like re-envision games and remaster them in like some kind of capacity.
Gotcha.
That's their specialty.
Does that disappoint you at all, or
no, not at all? With how hard it is to play some of these older games, like especially on the PlayStation console side, having a team that is able to bring them back to life in like visually striking ways, is very exciting. Yeah. And so it's time to put the tinfoil hat on. You ready, Dan?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm reading to you from the Bluepoint website. Okay. Their statement for what they're working on next. I guess it's for the studio, but they mentioned their next game. Our latest project is the largest in our history and aims to define the visual benchmark for the next generation of gaming hardware. And this is going to be in tandem with a post from Altchair, which is quoting a Bluepoint tweet saying, a symphony of rumors, not one, but two return from the shadows. Suggesting, of course, that Bluepoint is working on not one, but two games. And so I want to ask, what games are Bluepoint working on? And there are two obvious answers I have here.
There's two obvious answers.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are they, Christian?
The rumor has it for a long time was they were working on a remaster, a remake, of Metal Gear freaking Solid.
Oh.
And of course, naysayers are like, Konami would never do that. They're not in the business of like making games anymore. They wouldn't license out Metal Gear Solid, no matter if like their lineage is on PlayStation or not. Yeah. But as we saw today, Konami is willing to work with devs again.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they have been working with Bluepoint for a while now. Maybe Metal Gear Solid is real. And of course, in Demon Souls, we did get a little Easter egg for a Metal Gear Solid. I think it was 1 or 2, which was a like sound alert from a fight with Liquid in the game. So who knows? One of them could be Metal Gear Solid. I really hope so.
Interesting. So what's the other one, do you think, Christian?
The like the one that I thought of and everyone is thinking as well is Siphon Filter, and the only like backing behind that is that they keep using words like siphon in some of their tweets. Like one of them said like Siphon Souls, which was in reference to Demon Souls, but like siphon is a very particular word to use in that tweet. It feels a bit more reaching, but like if they're in the business of making like iconic games having a comeback, Siphon Filter feels like one of those games.
Which is that a Konami game as well?
Let's find out.
I feel like it was, but maybe I'm crazy. I
don't think it was. I think it was what is now Studio Bend, right?
Oh, you're right. I think yes. I believe you're correct. Yep. Now that you say that, that does sound familiar. Yeah, I think this is interesting, and Blue Point, yeah, I think as long as we don't get like a ton of studios that are doing remasters and remakes, I'm cool with this because like obviously you don't want like a bunch of your first party studios making remasters and remakes. Like usually like a lot of times when there's remasters and remakes, like publishers will get an external studio to make it, or many external studios in the case of Master Chief Collection, for instance, to make the game, because you want your main teams and your first party studio making the mainline games. So I do think it's a little interesting that Sony wants to bring in Blue Point if this does end up getting confirmed, which I think it will, because it kind of goes against, I guess, what they've done thus far in terms of first party, because first party's always been about, new IP and revisiting this established IP in like reboot fashion. Although maybe Blue Point does that, brings back a popular franchise, like you're saying, like Metal Gear Solid, and reinvigorates it, not just makes like a remake, but like reboot, so to speak, of it. That would be interesting, I think.
Yeah, and there's something to it, like the level of quality that these Blue Point games have. Yeah. Like even though they're old games, they do feel new. Like Demon Souls is a perfect example of that. I would. What was the other one they made? Shadow of the Colossus. I guess that one, like, we did get the HD collection on PS3, so having that on PS4 was like relatively recent. But they did update the controls. It looked stunning. Yeah, I don't know. I have faith in like the power of Blue Point bringing like quality games back to life. So I'm excited to see what they do next, and I really hope it's something like Metal Gear Solid, because it's hard to play those games without like emulation. So
absolutely. And actually, I think I'm remembering as well, as I look this up, that they also developed the original Titanfall on Xbox 360. So they ported the Respawn Titanfall from Xbox One to Xbox 360, which is very fascinating, because I think that game was actually lauded for how good it played on last gen. Or I guess 2 gens ago now. But
did not know that. Very cool.
Very interesting. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we close out the show, Christian?
Hope everyone has a safe 4th of July.
Yes, very much.
Maybe avoid fireworks this year. We've had too many droughts.
Yeah, that is true. It's getting pretty bad, obviously. But yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated.
Drink water, yeah.
Get some AC. Obviously,
somehow,
yeah, it's not as easy for some people like yourself, and that sucks. I feel bad for you.
I got a fan going. It's okay.
Yeah, I hope it gets better.
Thank you.
Thank you again to everyone joining us both live on YouTube and on Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thank you, Christian. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
Yahoo!